So my name is Marga Grey and I am the founder of CoordikIds. We help children with different struggles to be competent in sport and in learning. Today I want to introduce Laura Simmons, she's also an occupational therapist, and she's the founder and CEO of Theratrak. She is a passionate pediatric occupational therapist, helping families and working with children living with a range of disabilities. Laura has worked in the private health sector for 10 years. She decided to create innovative technology solutions targeting the ongoing care of participants outside of direct therapy. So Laura, you are so welcome. It's so lovely to know you and it's so lovely to interact with you. And I think we have similar goals in that we really want to help as many children as possible. And of course, their families and also their therapists to access therapy with ease. You created an excellent tool. Please tell us about Theratrak.
Oh, firstly, thank you so much for having me, Margaret. I agree. It's so nice to know you and it's so nice to have you in my circle as well. So Theratrak is a mobile app and a web platform for allied health therapists. So occupational therapists, speech therapists, physios, psychologists, they're kind of our 4 primary targets, but we also help a range of other allied health professionals, even a craniosacral therapist. But what the app does primarily is it supports allied health therapists to create custom therapy home programs and then send them with trackable notifications to keep clients on track outside of therapy sessions. So our main goal is to sort of solve the problem of documentation for therapists so that they're not spending as much time note writing and everything is streamlined. But then outside of therapy sessions, clients and participants know what they need to do. We can connect care teams like teachers and support workers and parents all around that child or person with a disability to implement all of the strategies that the therapist has recommended so that everyone's on the same page.
That is awesome. Can you step us through, for instance, when a therapist accesses Theratrak, how will she, and she's busy with an activity in the therapy session, how will she use Theratrak to make it easier for parents at home or for teachers or, tell us, step us through all the steps so that we can all understand.
Yeah, awesome. So it's a really simple platform. We say we can take some of the documentation that therapists do down from that 40 minutes or half an hour down to 2 to 5 minutes. The app itself is designed to be a tool that a therapist uses in therapy sessions. So we have around 250 early intervention activities loaded up on the platform. And these are activity cards. So they have what you need, what it works on, and how to do the task. And then the idea is that the therapist will customize that either in the session with a photo and video of their client doing the activity. So I was thinking it's kind of like Instagram or Snapchat almost, right? You're taking these short little videos that help someone understand in real time what's going on. Or alternatively, they can upload a library of content, those handouts that the clinic has created, those mini videos that the clinic has created over the years. They can upload those and also send them through to their clients and participants. And then at the end of that session, they'll set things like frequency, duration. They might set custom notifications, so remind people at the right time to do the things rather than that piece of paper being stuck on the fridge that everyone forgets about, or the post-it note that gets lost in the bottom of mum's handbag. And then those notifications go out to everybody that's on that care team. So mum, dad, grandma, support worker, whoever gets added as a guardian. And they can access the app, they can tick off the activities, watch all of the video content, and send feedback using our psychosocial model of feedback back to the therapist so they know what's going on. So kind of closing that loop, which is really cool.
That is awesome. So I expect, and I know that it is a secure platform.
Yeah.
So how do you make sure that, or how would parents be comfortable for video of their child, for instance, to be on Theratrak?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, security is something that we take very, very seriously. So it's one of the things that we've designed into the platform. The platform itself is password and PIN protected. So it locks you out after a couple of about 20 seconds. So no one can actually just pick up your phone and view any of the content. None of the data is kept at rest on the platform. So it's all encrypted in the cloud using end-to-end encryption. We use Microsoft's enterprise grade encryption software. Big buzzword, but basically means we use the top of the line enterprise encryption software where all of the data is kept on the country or in the country where it's developed and things like that. That's how Microsoft works in a very, very layman's terms. And then, yeah, like I said, it's all password and PIN protected. So we can see who's sent stuff, who's ticked things off. And so everyone's involved that way. And we also give the parents the permission to invite other guardians. So they're the ones that are in control as to who they share their data with, basically.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. And do families pay to use Theratrak?
No, it's completely free for families to use. So we are a B2B model. We charge therapists a subscription to use the platform, but families get access for free. Usually a therapist will incorporate that charge into their admin costs and things like that.
Yeah. So if I'm a parent, and I think there might be a few parents listening, how can I approach my therapist and say, I think you should use Theratrak. It will make it so much easier to see a video of what the child should be doing. Do you think that's possible?
I think that's a great idea. One of the things I would say is go onto our website. There's 3 really quick intro videos that we've made about what each of the different platforms do from a therapist perspective and from a participant or a client's perspective. So go on there and they're little quick. I think they're under 2 minutes each of them. You can send that to your therapist to show them the benefits as well for the therapist, not just for yourself. And I'd say approach the therapist, but then also maybe try and approach the clinical director of the practice and see if they'll be willing to jump on board as well, because sometimes that's the person that really needs to help bring a new tool like this into a clinic.
Yes, and I think if it comes from the parents, the therapist will be very much interested because they know the parents will use it.
Yeah.
So you are helping children by supporting and empowering role players in the child's life. So indirectly, this will help even more children and many more. And I know I created CoordikIds because I wanted to help more children than the few I could see per week. And that's exactly what you are doing as well. So do you have any advice to a parent or another professional who has a dream or an idea or even a wish to help more children? Is there a specific starting point? Is there that you feel is essential? Start here, or how do you?
I think always, for me, one of the biggest things is always start with the problem. So what is the problem that you're trying to solve? If you're going to create, especially a technical solution or a product or something like that, what do you want to solve? Like, don't start with the solution, because often the solution will change as you try and solve the problem and you talk to more people. To case in point, when I started Theratrak, I thought I was creating a pediatric OT exercise prescription platform because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to solve handing out pieces of paper to people. What I realized was it's not just the exercises, it's the strategies, it's everybody involved. And so that came from talking to all the different people and all the different stakeholders that were involved. So focus on the problem first. The second thing would be, see if you can create something that's like what you want to create for as little money as possible. So spend nothing if you can. If not spend nothing, that's probably a double negative in itself. But we used a completely different platform, one called Trello. When we built our first prototype, it was free to use, just to test if we could send activities to people and if they would open them. And if that was then a concept that someone would pay for. So if there's a way for you to test the problem, talk to people about it, and then find out as well if they will pay for that sort of a platform, you kind of get those 3 key elements. And once you get to that point, then you can probably spend a little bit of money to build whatever it is that you want to build.
Yeah, that's very, very good and very sound advice. Now, typically, OTs are not trained business people. And in my personal experience, I'm not a very good business person. But you have created a technology business. What was the driving force for you to step out of your comfort zones?
Pure frustration.
Tell us about it.
Oh, yes. So, look, I think I'm OTs, we're problem solvers, right? And you know this as well as I do. You know, we want to solve problems and we're really good at breaking a big problem down and finding it out. I also love talking to people, as you can probably tell, and talking and networking and talking to people that aren't necessarily within my industry. So talking to people in the startup and the technical community. And I had many a conversation before I started Theratrak with people that were outside of my community. And many of them were like, oh, you can solve that problem with an app. They do that in product management, and they do that in this and in different industries and in exercise prescription and fitness. And I sort of was like, huh, light bulb. And then luckily, short end of a very long story, I ended up getting into a startup accelerator in Sydney. So a startup accelerator is sort of like a 3 or 6 month program that helps you with business training to build the product that you want to build. Mm-hmm. So I was very, very lucky to get into an amazing program called She Starts that sort of kickstarted this whole dream, with lots of mentors and lots of people in the business world that helped me sort of coach what I thought was just a very simple problem into this amazing business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think you start with a wish or a dream, and you identify the problem there, and you then build gradually on it, but you definitely make use of a lot of mentors and people around you and to get other ideas and fresh ideas. Yeah, that's definitely, I agree with you. So from a business point of view, where were the unexpected hurdles that you had to address? Just name the biggest ones. I can imagine there were many.
I think learning about sales to start off with, really. As a therapist, it's all about solving the problem, and you kind of know the fee that's expected at the end of a therapy session. That's kind of the knowns. When you're selling a product to someone else, there's so many unknowns. There's so many behavioral things you have to look for, or sales cycles, or ways to follow up, and all sorts of different things that I just didn't know, which, if I looked at the way that I did sales back when I very first started to the way that I do sales now, is very, very different. And I think you learn from your mistakes too, right? So, but sales is always, I think that's just the biggest hurdle, right? Because I'm not a salesperson. I was a therapist to start off with. So learning that about yourself and learning where your gaps are is always really important, I think.
Yeah, and interesting.
Yeah, always.
Okay, now you have won a few awards. So tell us about all of them.
All of them. Oh my gosh, yes. I'm so proud of the awards that we've won at Theratrak. I think it's so amazing to see being able to stand up on a stage and pitch, and then people to recognize what you're doing and sort of give you the accolades for it. It's truly cool. So we've won a number of awards. Some are awards for things we haven't even built yet. So we've won an award for one of our ideas that we haven't even built yet, which is around artificial intelligence and using Theratrak with predictive treatment strategies, which, if people follow our journey, maybe we'll fill them in as we go. Hey, I'll leave that as a little secret. We've also, last year, we were named New South Wales Startup of the Year by the AIIA, which was really, really cool. And we were named Australian Runner-Up Startup of the Year for Australian Healthcare Week as well, which was really, really cool. And then we've also won a couple of awards for the most innovative digital therapy solution, which is really, really cool. So 2 years in a row, we've won that award as well. So I think it's awesome.
It is.
It's cool to say those sorts of things. So yeah.
Congratulations. It's so awesome it's just great. And yeah, congratulations. And we will keep you, we will keep watching you, because I think you will create many more things. So just in a nutshell, the way that we treat children, the way that we help children and support them are changing over the years. How do you see the future? How are we going to serve children specifically and help them in the future? What do you think? What is your...
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm totally biased on this one, but I think technology is going to have to play a really big part. You and I both know there's not enough therapists to do the job that needs to be done. The number of children being diagnosed with challenges and disabilities is just increasing, but the number of therapists that are being graduated every year is just not meeting that mark. But the other thing is, I think we haven't leveraged technology to the best of its ability in healthcare yet. You know, in the financial institutions, in banking, in other areas, they use technology to streamline all of their processes, to make their lives easier, to automate processes. And I think it's still, there's a lot of talk about health tech, especially in the medical space, but in the allied health and pediatric space, I think it's still just emerging. I'd love to see technology like what CoordikIds does and like what Theratrak does, provide that asynchronous care so that people don't have to be in that face-to-face sessions for so long, so that you can, you know, extend the gap between a therapy session or support parents to, you know, really learn those skills outside of a therapy session, so that people maybe don't need to go to therapy for as long. I tell people, I tell you that scary thought, right? Yeah. But, you know, that's the ultimate goal, right? The goal is to graduate kids from therapy. The goal is to get independence. And if we can use technology to help people build those habits or learn those strategies or develop those skills, I think that's awesome. It reduces the cost, it increases access. It's awesome, right?
Absolutely. And I think with specifically allied health, we as therapists are so aware of how individual each client is, children and adults. Yeah. And we know that you cannot have the same goals for this client and the next one with very, very similar symptoms. Yeah. You need to have their own specific goals. And I think that prevents us from using a generic platform. But what we also have to look in, we have to focus on the individual differences, but we also have to look at all the similarities and all the, you know, all the symptoms that are exactly the same from child to child, or even from parent to parent. And if we, and to address those aspects, then we can use a platform like CoordikIds. And well, Theratrak is much more individualized, but and I think that will, as soon as we as allied health professionals understand that will open up. Oh, okay, we can use it for this part, but the individual part I still see in individual therapy sessions.
Exactly. So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Laura, you created a cheat sheet that people can download. It's called Easy Steps to Create an Innovative Business While Helping Others. And this will inspire anybody to start with the initial steps in making a dream come true. So can you give us a sneak peek of what is in this you know, downloadable cheat sheet?
Yeah, of course, a little bit of a teaser. So basically, I've put together sort of about 10 steps of the starting points of creating what I think is creating any sort of product or solution. It's the steps that we followed when we started Theratrak, and we probably, every time we create a new feature or every time we're creating a new part of the product, we still follow these same steps. It's all about finding the problem, talking to people. Don't be afraid to share your idea with lots and lots of people. The more people you share it with, the more people that might be able to help you, the more people that might be able to help you solve a problem in a different way. And then figuring out, I think the biggest thing as well with these sorts of things is make sure someone will pay for it before you build it. Because a business is only a business as long as there's money coming in the doors. Otherwise, it's a charity, I guess. And that's okay. It's totally okay to create a charity. It's totally okay to create those things. But if you want to create a business, it's going to have profit. You do need people to pay for it. And I've seen many a founder spend tens of thousands of dollars on products that at the end of it wasn't quite the solution that someone wanted to pay for. They didn't want to pay enough for it. And it's hard to see. So I think those are the steps that we've put together. But I'm happy to chat. If anyone always wants to reach out or test ideas on me, I'm always happy to reach out. I love hearing new innovative ideas. I know Marga does as well. So yeah, learning about new things is always so cool.
Yeah, it is. And we will definitely put your contact details down at your website.
Yeah.
So Laura, you are a true game changer. You created something that very few other people have created, and nothing exactly like you did. Can you give a final message for role players that are inspired to be game changers in helping children in the future?
Just do it. I love that. I love that Nike ad. It's my favorite. If you can, I mean, you know, try it, test it. We need innovation in pediatrics and therapy, I think. And I think there's so many people out there with amazing ideas, and it is scary to start off with. It definitely is scary to take the leap and take that leap of faith. But if you can test it, build a little bit, test a little bit to start off with, and see if your idea has some ground or has some stickiness, then that's always a great place to start.
And just give us your website, because it will be on our website and on yours, I suppose, but
yeah.
Some people will only listen and not watch us. So yeah.
So our website's www.theratrak.co. So THERATRAK.co. We're pretty cool like that. We drop off letters of things. And you can book a demo on our website, watch videos of the platform. You can also connect with me if you want to as well. I'm happy to chat to anyone who's watching the video.
Oh, thank you. And thank you so much for being here today. It's so lovely, as always, to talk to you. And I value the way that you share, that you help children indirectly and directly, and that you support therapists. It's amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Marga.
Okay, all the best.